Hey there, this is Rob. Let's get started with the Accounts section. If you're not seeing this tab, you need to log into the admin. To do that, all you do is append admin onto the end of your URL for either your demo site or even your live site URL. So here's the URL, and you put a \admin and hit enter. Then you get a login screen for your credentials. Once logged in, you will see this admin tab on top. Let's go to the first section in the admin, which is Account. The panel pops out and you can drag it anywhere on the screen. Let's start at the top with notifications. First, you can see what version of our software you are using. Now in the DX Cloud, we're doing things a bit different than before, and the updates to your site happen automatically. This Force Update button can be used if we email you and ask if you would like to test new software. Next, we have the Submitted Forms Viewer. So what this does is it allows you to see any of the forms that have been submitted on your site. There's a couple different types of forms that will show up here. There's the contact form, email this image, which is a button they can use to send an image to a colleague. And there's an inquiry form, which allows people to inquire about an image. The reason we have this Submitted Forms Viewer is it's a very fail-safe way to see anything that was submitted to you using your site. If anything happened to your email or the contact form doesn't make it to you because it gets marked as spam, you can always refer back here. This is fail-safe. It's 100% accurate for any of these contact forms. Okay, next we have Site Display. Blog Feed allows you to select a page that will become a blog or news section within your site. If you search under New Features in the manual, you'll find information on how this works. Custom Fonts is a box where you can put all the fonts you want to add to your site. You can use any Google font or any font you own. There's instructions how to add fonts in the manual under Additional Topics. It's pretty easy, and of course, support can help if you need it. Next is the Custom Favicon. There's a little icon that appears in the Browser tab when you visit a site. You can upload your own here, and there's instructions for sizing under Additional Topics. Next are two buttons that allow you to show the desktop version of your site on a tablet or mobile device. You probably won't want to do this because we have really good looking responsive mobile and tablet versions of your desktop site, but there may be a situation where you want to do that. Okay, next we have a cookie banner, which allows you to put a banner on your site to become compliant with the EU cookie law, which forces people to accept the terms for visiting your site. You can change the text and even add a link to cookie information. And of course, you can just leave it off if you don't want it to display. It shows up once for new visitors, and once they accept, provided they don't clear their cookies, it will not show up again for that person. Let's move on to SEO. I recommend looking at the SEO section of the manual for further information, especially on what's required for advanced SEO. Rest assured, if you simply fill out the browser title and meta description of your site, you'll do just fine in the rankings. Here's how the global browser title works. The browser title is what you see up here on the top of your browser, and Google uses this title in their search. So one thing you can do to improve your search results is to not use the global browser title. This is where you input the title right here. Now, if you go into the media library and you look at the list view of all your content, each item can have its own title. This image is using the actual image name, which is imported here when you upload your images. If you want to give each image a title to give Google a good idea what the image is showing, you would go ahead and change all of these. Once you've done that, you want to turn off the global browser title. That will allow your site to use these titles instead, and give you much better SEO. But if you don't have time to change all those titles, or you're not really interested in improving your SEO, you can go ahead and use the global browser title, which will just use this browser title here throughout the site instead of picking up the image titles. That's what this button is for. Let me just show you how these different elements work. You have the browser title, meta description, and meta keywords. I would just ignore the meta keywords because those aren't used anymore by search engines for discovering sites. Let's take a look at one of our client sites. You can see the browser title and meta description. Now if I go search for them on Google, here's the browser title. You can see it's used as a link to their site, and right under that is the meta description, all in the Google search results. So you can see these are really important, and it's really nice that you can adjust them inside the admin. Next we have Google Analytics ID. This is where you can paste your Google Analytics ID so you can track visitors to your site. You will sign up for Google Analytics on their site. Just Google it, and you will get a unique ID for your website. Okay, next is Google Site Verification. If you're using email, analytics, or webmaster tools from Google, they will ask you to upload an HTML file to your site to prove you own it. This is where you do it. Next, we have some really powerful spots where you can paste code into the head or footer of your site. There's a lot of third-party software you can use with your site, like email sign-up forms that pop up on the site. This is where you paste that kind of thing. Now there's a big caution message because potentially you could break your site if the code is messed up. So you'll need to check your site after pasting something here. And then you'll have to contact support and get them to remove the code if something's not working. Finally, we have a spot to paste 301 redirects. You can look under additional topics for instructions on how to do that. Next, we have social. There's a button that turns on Facebook metadata. This basically allows Facebook to better index the contents of your site. You can also designate an image that shows up when people paste a link to your main URL in Facebook. This is different from image URLs, which will show the image inside Facebook. Then finally, you can enable Pinterest extension that allows a button to show up on images if people have the Pinterest extension on their browser, so they can pin your images. Next is owner info. Here's some information about you and your business you can fill out to help us reach you. Then if you scroll down, there are some really important parts to this section. The footer text is where you can add a copyright, email, phone number, or anything you want on your site that will appear on every page. Here's the footer text on your site. Email message. There's an option where you can email an image out of a portfolio. If you have that turned on, which you do simply by placing this button in your nav bar down here. Let me go ahead and press that. Somebody can email one of your images to one of their friends. Hopefully it's a colleague who will give you a job. You can send a message that accompanies each of these images, and this is where you input the message. Now we also have an inquiry button. Inquiry is simply a bespoke way of selling or licensing your images. If you've added the inquiry button, which you'll learn how to do in the nav bar video, you get a screen that comes up and you have two places where you can inform your viewers what this is all about and what's going to happen when they send you an email. Then finally, we have Photomoto Store ID. We're using Photomoto if you want to sell or license images directly from your site. This is where you will put the store ID. There's more information about that in the manual under the Additional Topics section. And finally here we have billing. Before your 14-day trial is up, you need to select a plan and enter your credit card information. That will keep your site going past the trial period. That way you can keep working on it and make it live on your personal domain name. anytime you need to change or update the credit card for your account, you simply go in here and make the changes before the next billing cycle. Okay, that's it for Account Panel. Let's move on to the next one.